Yeah, I called it. Wait, are you wearing dentures?
Bollocks, wrong one. Wrong one, Ben. Stand down, Ben. Stand down. Wrong one. How? Oh my lord! How's it hanging, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We've got an exciting array of people on screen for you at the moment. There's obviously myself, James T Keegan. How are you doing, James?
Heyo. What's up?
And we've got Efren from Passpoint Comics.
Hey guys, how's it going? We're ready for part 4, correct?
Part 4, that's right. Part 4 of the comics.
It's supposed to be just one video.
I know. It's like 5 hours of our lives. This was
Yeah, we were just talking about
Breaking the illusion, guys.
Yeah.
And Efren, you don't even like horror films. So what have we been talking about for so
I thought it was a great topic. You picked the topic, Peter. I thought it was a great topic. That's why I wanted to do it, But horror films are just they just scare me too much. But I'm with you guys doing these videos, so let's get going.
Well, speaking of scaring you, Efren, does the man sat to your side?
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Don't scare me.
Very good. So we've got everybody's favorite attention-seeking geek, Ben. Tell a little bit about yourself whilst you've got those teeth in. Yeah, I mean, you made more sense than usual.
Hello, YouTube.
And you've
Thanks
come
for
as
having me back, Peter.
you've come as Jason, yeah? Is that right?
Yes, exactly right. Jason Parker Comics.
Oh dear,
That's what I thought you meant as well, Peter.
You what?
When you said Jason,
I meant Jason as in,
I mean, the hair's not far off. Like,
Anyway, tremendous. The effort you go to, Ben, is always appreciated. So thank you.
I'm not
much.
keeping this on. I just.
Well, no, I insist. I think
beginning effect. I can't.
Right, guys. So we are back today to talk about our top 5 horror movies, scary stories, part 4. We've done a few of these videos now. They're all being released in October. So please do go and check out the other episodes. Like I say, released every Wednesday. So please do go and check them out. But today we are doing part 4. Guys, this has been a really interesting process because, I mean, I know, having worked with you guys before, I know James and I know Ben are both big horror fans. I like horror, and I've watched a fair bit of horror, but I wouldn't say I'm a massive horror fan. And I know, Efren, you're not a huge horror fan. But that said, we've managed to come up with an awful lot of good movies to talk about, and there's been very few really that we've kind of doubled up on. So there's the obvious ones like Freddy Krueger and Chucky and things like that, but we've all brought something different to the table, so it's been very interesting, I think. So far, have there been any ones that have surprised you that you've actually thought, do you know what, I'm going to go off and watch that because it's not something I've seen?
Yes, for me, since I don't watch horror as much as you guys, I want to see the Scream ones that came out recently, like the remakes or reboots, whatever there is. Yeah. You guys told me that I should watch the first 2 that came back before I watch this next one.
It's a Halloween one.
That was Halloween, not Scream.
Oh, that's right. But Scream is coming out again, right?
There's a new Scream, yes.
Yes.
Okay, see, I'm confused. Horror just puts me in a different type of mindset. So, I'm probably gonna have nightmares tonight again.
Efren, just put Avengers on again, mate. Don't worry about it.
It's like when a guy goes, "Why isn't Batman in Avengers Endgame?"
Yeah.
Efren will be lying tonight in bed, holding onto his AF-15, listening to all the noises and the creaks around his house.
Okay.
What about yourself, James? Is there anything that you're going to rush out and watch?
Yeah, that rabies one looked interesting. I'll look into that one a bit. Yeah, for the most of them I've seen. Salem's Lot is one that's been
Yeah.
not on my. It's been on my radar, but I've never actually sat down to watch. So I'll give that one a go. I think as well.
Yeah, same for me. I think I want to go back and revisit Salem's Lot, but I feel deeply ashamed now that I've not seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I will go back and watch
So
that.
you should be.
What about yourself, Ben?
Yeah, I'm also ashamed that I've not seen John Carpenter's The Fog. I think as a John Carpenter so-called fan, I haven't seen that, so I need to go and see that. I've quite enjoyed your selections, Peter, of these kind of random like BBC one-offs, like from like the 80s and things, like just because so kind of unheard of, you know, now. So I'd quite like to revisit the rabies one, but especially the Parkinson sort of a special, you know, Ghost
Watch.
the happenings, Ghost Watch. That's the one. So, yeah, I've been quite intrigued by those. But I think it's just, I mean, we're just scratching the surface, even with these. I mean, initially we were doing one show. We've made it, you know, 4 shows. But like even that, I still think we could do more. Let me know in the comments section below of this video, would you be interested in more horror content either on Peter's channel, James's channel, my channel, not Efren's channel? But let us know in the comment section below if that's something that would interest you, because I feel like there's an appetite for it amongst us, at least. So
it's interesting you saying that, Ben, because predominantly the content we normally talk about is comic books and superhero stuff. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and we've talked probably by the time this one goes out, probably for about 4 or 5 hours about horror movies, and yeah, it's been great. So yeah. Okay, so moving on, guys. We're going to look at some movies again and again. I've put these slides together and I'm over the moon to say there are some movies I've never even heard of. So really quite excited. So, Efren, I'm going to start with you because you've picked a movie that I absolutely love. And I only watched for the first time, I think it was last year or something. So tell me a little bit about your pick.
Which one is my pick? I don't even know the... Sorry.
It's the little lady holding the coin. It's Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
I remember that picture of the lady. It's a while since I've seen this movie. It came out in, let me bring it back up here. Sorry. It came out in 2009. This must be one of the last horror movies that I went to go see, now that I think about it. And it's like over 10 years. Something like we've mentioned throughout these videos that horror movies I just try to stay away from them for some reason. I think obviously, you know, subconsciously, I just don't like them, but I do watch them, you know, and this is like one of the last ones that I've seen. This movie, like I said, is called Drag Me to Hell. It came out in 2009. It was directed and co-written by Sam Raimi, and him and his brother. So this movie was just one of the movies, like when I seen it, I went, damn it. To me, when I watch horror movies, I go, this could really happen. I think that's what bothers me. You know, it makes it so real, these films. So basically what happens is this woman here, the lead actress, she's like she denies a loan in a bank or a loan company. There's this old gypsy woman that comes, say, hey, can you give me a loan for some, you know, she's trying to save her house. But her boss tells her, you have to be more tougher. You can't give loans to everybody. So she denies her the loan. So this gypsy woman at the beginning of the movie, you know, she confronts her like outside in the parking lot, and she attacks her and she grabs one of her buttons, which you can see her holding up, and she puts a curse on her. Okay, and then it starts going downhill from there. She's being attacked by this evil entity that only she can see, but she starts freaking out, and then she starts looking into the history of this woman. And she goes out, she takes the button and she puts a curse on the button because it belonged to her. Yeah. So she goes back to the lady's house to like ask for forgiveness, but she died and she can't ask for forgiveness. But her family members saying, you know, the worst is yet to come. You're going to pay for what you did to her. And it just goes from there. Just all the weird things that are happening to her. She tries to, you know, reverse the curse, so to speak, by putting the button, giving it to somebody else so they would be cursed. but she doesn't go that route, and she tries to, where the woman is buried, if I remember right, she tries to give her it's in an envelope now. She tries to give the button back to her, but at the end, she gave the wrong button, or she gave the wrong envelope back to the lady that died, and she was still cursed. And the final scene is what really bothered me of this movie. She's like in the subways with her boyfriend, and she falls into the tracks, and her boyfriend is trying to save her. But at the end, you see her being dragged to hell by these demons. They're pulling her under.
Yeah.
And even now I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, these types of movies. I like watching them because I do like the fear factor, the scariness of them. But when it comes to, these movies, man, they just bother me. And I think that's why I kind of stopped watching them.
It's a tremendous pick, Efren. I say, I watched this the first time a couple of years back, and it's a superb. The scene in the bank where she's coughing and there's gunge coming out and stuff, and then that's when they go to the car parking lot. That's the first time I really thought, this is a Sam Raimi movie, because the way the old lady's kind of bouncing off the car and stuff, it's phenomenal. You seen this one, Ben?
Yeah, I don't know whether I've seen it all the way through. Or not, but the bank loan scene itself and the car park scene, I distinctly remember that, just because the jump scares are so prominent, and like Sam Raimi's kind of master of that, like quick kind of aggressive, jolted kind of shot. So I remember that very well. Always seems a bit harsh to me though, like not everyone can have a loan. Interestingly enough, guys, have you heard this might be very out of date by the time the video goes out. There might be a statement debunking it, but apparently with the troubles that Blade has been having, there is rumors that Mr. Raimi might be
I did hear that
coming back.
I think what bothered me about this movie, specifically, is this woman, the loan officer. She was an innocent person. She was just doing her job. I don't think she deserved to be dragged to hell.
So she literally gets dragged to hell at the end.
Yes.
So harsh.
Kind of in the name.
No, but I didn't know if they maybe came for the older lady, that because she was doing demon stuff without permission or something. Basically, I've not watched it all the way through. But Efren, don't worry, because you are one of the nicest people I know. I don't think you're on the radar to be dragged to hell. I think you're okay.
Thank you.
Me, top of the
list. You've seen this one, James?
Yep. It's been a while, but I remember loving it. Sort of Sam Raimi's triumphant return to horror after taking a break with the Spider-Man trilogy. But it's got all of his trademarks in it, and it certainly feels like a Raimi film. And thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one I've been meaning to give a rewatch, and I think after talking about it now, I think I'll do that soon.
It's a great movie. It is a great pick, Efren. Good choice. Interestingly, Ben, you're saying there about him being potentially going to do Blade. I'm not sure how I feel about that after the latest Doctor Strange movie.
I really didn't like Doctor Strange. So
interesting. James, you've picked one of my favorite movies, I have to say. So tell me about your pick.
So this is Don't Breathe. So who's seen it? So Efren, this film, it's got a great elevator pitch. I think it's basically a group of burglars break into this old war veteran's house, and he's blind, and they don't know he's a war veteran, and it turns out he's very adept at killing people. So it's sort of interesting that it's like, on paper you would think that the old man is the hero, but he's the slasher villain in it, and you find out kind of these horrific things that are going on with him. And the burglars are the protagonists, but it's just one of the most suspenseful movies I've ever had. There's literally, in the cinema, there's usually a bit of popcorn going on, but there was just dead silence the entire way through the movie when I went to see it. And a fantastic performance by Stephen Lang from Avatar, who plays the old man. And Jane Levy is one of my favorite actresses, also stars in it. So, yeah, but just brilliant, suspenseful, thrilling movie, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I haven't seen the second one yet. I noticed it's on Sky at the moment.
It's not as good.
Yeah,
definitely not as good. Still some good stuff in it, but
yeah.
But the first one's tremendous. Ben, you a big fan of it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. Same as you. I've not seen the second one just yet, so I would like to see that. Jamie Lang, like between the Scar in Avatar and the White Eye, it really was an audition to be Cable. That never went through, wasn't it? But yeah, no, he's brilliant in this, and he's definitely the kind of star attraction, I think, of the show. And yeah, just a really interesting concept. They actually, I don't know if you guys have seen, for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a similar concept to this, but it's a deaf individual.
In the woods. She's out in a remote.
She's a writer. And it's like a home invader or whatever with the mask. Hush, I want to say.
Yes, Hush. Yes,
Equally great film, and just kind of interesting that it took so long to kind of explore those ideas, the blind and the deaf and things. So very, very cool though. Good choice.
Excellent. And I'm very pleased we managed to get through talking about that film without talking about the turkey baster in the mouth scene, because that's just wrong.
Oh yeah, God, I forgot.
Happens to the best of us.
Efren, you'll have to watch it and then tell me what you think of that particular scene. Ben, now I've heard you talk about this
somewhere else.
I've heard you talk about this character a lot, and I've seen images of him because I've seen the toy version of him. I've never seen this movie, so tell us about this.
Yeah. So, like off the bat, it's not a great film. Like it's incredibly low budget, but even so, not as low budget as where he originally came from. So there was a film called All Hallows Eve, which is very much a kind of anthology piece, VHS, and there's a VHS found, and there's all this creepy stuff. But it's like a bloody student film. It's that level, So set your expectations there. But one of the standout parts of it was one of the scenes or stories involves this character Art the Clown, who's psychopathic murderer, dressed in a clown costume. But again, it's like, they've managed, even though we've seen multiple kind of killer clowns and stuff like that, they still managed to kind of come up with this amazing original look. And it kind of off the bat seemed iconic just in the way he was. But it's really what really kind of elevates it is the performance of David Howard Thornton, who just very similar to Freddy. It's like he's having he's very playful, and similar to Michael, there's that kind of childlike playfulness to him and his kills. So the character did so well that there was an All Hallows Eve 2, which is even worse, and Art the Clown's not even in that one. I was so annoyed that because I went out of my way to watch it and he wasn't in it. I was like, fuck. And he's literally on Amazon. They put Art the Clown in the corner of All Hallows Eve 2, so don't watch it. But they brought him back for his own film, feature length film, Terrified. It's still a very short film. It's like an hour and 20 or something. And it's just essentially about this girl who's kind of stalked by Art the Clown and ultimately sort of meets their end. But there's like an amazing scene in a cafe where he just stalks her and a friend. He just sits opposite them and he's like, like that, and it's just really creepy stuff.
So is he like a supernatural thing, or is it your bog standard kind of just nutter?
I think it's very similar to those kind of earlier Jason, earlier Michael, where it's like
Not sure.
He is, but you're not really sure, sort of, or it can kind of go both ways. But I think he is. I think he's like a demon of some sort. But there's a horrific scene in the first film where he saw someone in half, but like he has them hung up upside down, legs akimbo, and goes, or it's like and obviously like you kind of become numb to it when you love your horror and slashes and stuff, but even I was kind of like wincing quite badly at that. It's pretty brutal. Anyway, he's got a second film, so Terrifier 2. It's a weird one because it's almost like they've got more budget for this, but it's still not like a full release. So there's like select cinemas that are showing it, part of festivals, things like that. I'm hoping that it gets picked up by like one of the major streaming platforms, so that I can watch that at home. Just because it's really great. Damon Leone is kind of the mind behind it all. And yeah, Trick or Treat Studios do a little 1/6 scale Art the Clown, which I think is going to be coming into my collection very soon. I'm waiting for Freddy to come, and I've got Leatherface in January, hopefully. And once I've ticked off the core slashers, I'm going to kind of move on to the more unknown ones, people like Art the Clown and stuff. So, yeah.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. Do you guys ever see a film you're saying, this is too much, I can't watch this? Or is it any horror film you guys will watch?
I struggle. I prefer a ghost story or a kind of a spooky kind of supernatural story. I can watch gore, but I wouldn't say it's enjoyable for us at times. So some of the ones that stick in mind for me are some of the Saw movies, like where there's a one where I think they've got to bleed themselves. So he puts his hand and there's a circular saw and they've got to push the hands down that. That kind of stuff.
So
I like the inventiveness.
Do you need to say that every episode, Bendy? It's a Willy Shrinker.
I'm trying to get it trending, like hashtag Willy Shrinker.
Hashtag Willy Shrinker.
That's the name of my horror film, the Willy Shrinker.
I like the inventiveness of Saw, but Hostel's one I think is just too much for me. And I really can't. That's just disgusting for the sake of it.
Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
Yeah, that's rough. That is rough.
Get past 10 minutes of that. No, The Exorcist for me, Efren. I know we were speaking about it before, but I really struggle with that film.
So did I. I did too. Even now, when I think about it, I get, especially at night when I think about it, sometimes it just bothers me,
Well, my next pick later on, I think there will challenges and some of that. James, have you seen this movie, this Terrifier movie?
I have not, but Ben sings its praises, so it's one I'll definitely have to see. The actor is going to be at For the Love of... was Ash a couple days ago, wasn't he?
I'm really tempted. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I might even pull the trigger after this call, but he's doing in-costume photo ops as Art the Clown, and I'm really tempted to get a photo because obviously I'll be dressed in my Leatherface gear. I'll be in this outfit, so I think it would be quite a fun photo op, like the two bros, like.
Yeah, I think I might watch this one. Probably I might watch it tonight, actually, when we finish doing this. See what it's like. Yeah. So my pick feels a bit weird because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys would say it's a horror or not, but it's Cabin in the Woods.
Fully count this one. I think I'm really happy this came up because
I love this movie. I went to the cinema to see this with a friend of mine in 2011. It came out, obviously by Josh Whedon. It was Josh Whedon apparently has gone on record to say that he felt horror films had kind of lost the way a little bit, and he wanted to reset with this, and he wanted to poke fun at all the tropes that have become standard. I just love everything about it. I love the start of this movie in terms of them, the workers just casually chatting about what they're going to be doing and betting on who's going to survive and stuff. I like the action. It's got some good jump scare scenes and stuff. But for me, it's that last half hour. It's the scene where the lift's open.
Oh, shit.
and you just see everything piling out, and it's got every kind of horror creature imaginable. It's just, I love it, absolutely love it. And I like the characters in it as well, and I wanted some of them to survive by the end. Yeah, have you guys? I take it. Efren, have you seen this one?
Never even heard of it. No.
Never heard of it.
This is one you would like. I think you could enjoy this one. Yeah,
I think you'd like it. It's not like offensive, in any way. I don't think
it's a. I was going to say it's a family horror. It's not really a family horror.
It's like a horror film.
Fantasy horror.
Yeah,
but it's horror for people who maybe don't like horror. Even I would say, people would still like the concept of it and everything. It's so.
Yeah. And I still laugh every time I think about the merman bit at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Just the gambling, like the board of all the things that it could have been. I just love it. All the little Easter eggs are.
It kind of pokes fun at horror. The idea of the. As I was speaking about like young unlikable teenagers being killed off, it kind of plays into that and pokes fun at that. It was weird. Like I remember going to watch it and just having no idea that it was going to become what it was. Like I just kind of
absolutely.
I was just going in thinking it was going to be a generic-y sort of horror, and it became this whole meta thing. And then it became very funny, and I didn't expect that. And then, the scene where the prison's open or whatever is just one of the man. That's up there for me as like just favorite scenes in anything. I just think it's like the unicorn, just hilarious. Yeah. That shit crazy.
Yeah. Tremendous movie. Efren, that's a one I would recommend going to see.
I'll check it out. Hopefully by Josh Whedon, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote it and it's directed by Drew Goddard, who did Daredevil for Netflix.
Right.
And he's supposed to do the Sinister Six movie, and I think
all right. Yeah.
I was like, so great director.
Okay. Efren, I'm gonna have to come to you, mate, because I have got no bloody clue what the hell that thing is.
So this movie came out before most of you were even born.
I know what this is.
Okay, this movie came out in It was a movie. ABC had movies of the week, and this movie came out in 1975. It was called Trilogy of Terror. Actually, there were three like mini movies, and then they made it one movie. And they all three movies starred the actress Karen Black. The first two were not, to me, had anything to do with terror. One was called Julie, about a college professor who entraps college students. And the other one was called Millicent and Therese, were portrayed by Karen Black. They were two sisters, but at the end, one was like not too popular and the other one was more outgoing, but it turns out they were the same person. They had like a split personality. The third one is the one that always stuck on my head. The title is called Amelia. Basically, this one was, it focuses on a woman terrorized by a Zuni fetish doll in her apartment. What happens is this lady buys this little doll. But
whoa, hang on.
Okay.
Is that the fetish doll, Efren?
Yes.
That thing there?
Yes.
Not what
what's a fetish doll? When it's
that's just what they call it. It's like a little tiki doll.
Yeah, it's like a little tiki doll. She buys it, and when she brings it home, it says it's a misshapen Aboriginal warrior equipped with pointy, sharp teeth and a spear. A squirrel comes with the dog, claiming the doll contains the actual spirit of a Zuni hunter named He Who Kills, and that there's a gold chain surrounding him in the middle, and that keeps the spirit from coming out. So she puts the doll down, but the chain falls off, and then this entity, the spirit, comes alive, and it starts attacking her throughout her whole apartment with a knife and just sharp teeth and just trying to kill her. It's a demon, and she fights it off, and she's freaking out the whole time. At the end, she puts it in the oven where it's burning, so she thinks it's over with, and then she pulls down the oven, opens it up, and this black smoke comes out at her. And then it cuts to the scene where she calls her mom and she says, "Hey mom, why don't you come on over? We're going to have dinner." But then in the end, she just hunches down on her knees and she starts to smile, and the demon possessed her. She has a knife and she's just waiting for her mom.
It's such a creepy
It
image.
is.
The last shot of it is terrible. The last shot of it is impressive
Right?
for what the rest of the thing is.
Yeah.
Like it's so
Right.
yeah. Because it's this weird hokey, it's 1/3 of a made for TV movie.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yeah.
ragdolly and like it's almost Chucky-esque.
What's it called again? Sorry, Efren.
It's called Trilogy of Terror. It was 3 short movies, part of Movie of the Week on ABC. This was the last one, and it just always, and I watched it when I was a teenager. So this is like one of the very first like scary horror movies that I remember, but it always stuck in my head, this little doll that came to life as like an evil entity, and it just attacks the woman throughout her apartment. And then at the end, she comes possessed by the demon, and she's waiting for her mom, and it smiles, and it has the teeth of the demon. She's just waiting for her mom to come.
I like the sound of that. I fancy watching that one.
It's on YouTube. So
is it?
It's only like I think 28 minutes or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Ben's face. Yeah, I'm not
it
sure.
It is a must. It's a must watch. Like,
is Ben horrified or just totally?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how offensive it is, to be honest. The depiction there, but the first thing I thought just seeing that image was Puppet Master, just the kind of silliness of that. But the idea of her at the end having the creepy smile and stuff, that all sounds pretty intriguing. So I might check that out.
I'll check that one out, I think.
I mean, it's been over 40 years, and I always remember this particular movie. You know, like I said, it's 3 parts, but the last part with the little voodoo doll, whatever it was, that one always stuck in my head. And I can see that James liked it too. You know, it's a very good short film.
My friend recommended this to me. I think on Halloween one year we sat and watched it. Like not that long ago, only like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, yeah, this is great. Like we watched the first 2 just out of obligation.
Yeah.
I was like, and the last one, like he was like, this is the one to watch. And
the first 2 don't link into it, do they? It's all
anthology. Yeah.
It's not much terror, the first 2. I think I'm not sure why they even put it with this one, but this one, the last third of the film, it was terror. The other 2 weren't that much. But
I'll check that one out. Looks interesting. Yeah. Ben, what have you got?
So I went for Wreck, which was a 2007 Spanish kind of found footage film. It's by Juan Balaguero and Paco Plaza. Might be mispronouncing that horribly.
I was impressed with your pronunciation there. You rolled your R.
Quarter Spanish. I'm not. But yeah, so again, the success of it kind of spawned multiple films. In the end, there were 4 movies, and there was a American remake of this called Quarantine, which is just an unashamedly like almost frame for frame remake. When they like literally just watch Wreck. There's no need, and it's not as good. It doesn't. It kind of loses everything that made the Wreck so good. So yeah, I wanted to select Wreck specifically because this genuinely is probably the most scared I think I've ever been watching a horror movie. Yeah. Like even I know about Exorcist creeps me out, but this was the most kind of scared, edge of my seat, jump scares galore. So essentially the premise is that there's a zombie outbreak in a apartment block in I think they're Barcelona or somewhere like that, or Madrid, and they're quarantined off. So the whole time you can hear. So there's almost like a big sheet of plastic that's put over the whole building, and you can see all the lights and hear all the kind of police and hullabaloo outside. Or you can just kind of hear it. And yeah, it kicks off majorly. And there's just it's and I don't know, it's hard to describe, it's hard to kind of put into words why it's so scary, but it's just incredibly shot. I think the found footage camera kind of element really puts you in the middle of the scene, and all the performances are amazing. There's a fireman called Manu who's my favorite because the guy's absolutely he just knocks zombies out here and there. He dies eventually and becomes a zombie. But yeah, and there's like so anyway, all of that happens, right? But the scariest thing is the last like 20 minutes, I think it is. So basically the whole time you're kind of getting little like drops of information as to like where this virus came from and what it's about and stuff. And ultimately it's revealed that there was in like the kind of attic or cellar or whatever of this apartment block, there was a religious kind of cultist religious guy who was basically performing an exorcism or trying to perform an exorcism on a girl, and essentially it was just kind of torture and you know, like there's like they've listened to the tapes and it's, I don't know whether it's because it's like when it's not your language it becomes instantly more mysterious and kind of like disconcerting because you kind of having to follow, and you're listening to the tapes of him kind of documenting what happened during the exorcism and everything like that, and basically saying how it's gone wrong and the rage that she's experiencing can be passed on and stuff. So it's like a weird kind of cross between like your kind of religious exorcist type story mixed with like zombie. But anyway, the lights are all off, and I know Ephraim was talking in one of these videos about the fear of the dark. It goes pitch black, and then it goes to that like night vision, you know, on the camera. And all you can kind of see, you can only ever see people if they're like up close. And the reporter's like in there, and she's kind of obviously blinded by the darkness, and you just see this weird, elongated, saggy boobed kind of creature monster thing in the background, and she's got like a hammer, and because she's like blind as well, so she's just like knocking like in the background, and it's honestly one of the scariest things I think I've ever experienced when I was watching it, you know, for the first time. Yeah, man. Just even describing it, like I feel like my heart rate's gone up. Like I honestly could not recommend. Like if you really if you want to be scared, you've never seen it before, check out Wreck.
See Wreck, Amanda.
Is it
missed an opportunity there, didn't I, James?
Is it dubbed, Ben, or
is I'm here?
Is it subtitled?
It's dubbed, I believe. Did I watch it dubbed or subtitled? I can't remember. I imagine at this point you probably got both options, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd watch it subtitled.
Stuff. Yeah.
You've not seen that one either, James?
Nope.
No.
It's one I've heard great things about it, but just never got around to it.
It's another one on my list. Just
we watched at uni
else.
and there were like 6 boys all hugging each other like in this room, like because we were all shitting our pants. It was hilarious.
Sounds like a good one. It's on my list as well. Excuse me, James. You picked one again that I've not heard of.
So It Follows.
Yeah.
Anybody familiar with this one? Yeah. So this is this came out in 2014. Again, another amazing elevator pitch. It's so original. But the concept is it's about like a sexually transmitted monster. So there's this monster that basically it sounds weird, but in the movie it's incredible. So basically there's this monster and it's invisible to everybody except for the person that it's following. It only walks, and when you see it, it's either like a random person, usually naked or like not in the right context of where they are, or a person that you know, and it just walks. It doesn't say anything, has like no emotion. So the only people that can see it are the person that's following or the person that gave it to the person that is following. Yeah. So the only way to stop it from following you is to sleep with someone, and it passes on to them. And when it kills that person, it goes back to you. So it's sort of this Carpenter-esque paranoia movie where it, you know, and some of the most effective tension in a movie I've ever experienced. It's an amazing like synth soundtrack and some really great performances. Micah Monroe plays the lead character. Incredible. But it's just so original, and I remember going to see this in the cinemas, not really knowing what it's about, and I was just blown away by it. And I think it's honestly one of the best horror films in the last 10 years or so.
Again, one I've not heard of. Have you seen that one, Ben?
I have, yeah. It's wicked. It's like it's the scenes where like literally you can't see anything as well, like very similar to when we were speaking about like the Invisible Man and stuff. Like just kind of holds that same. It's almost your imagination does worse than what the reality is, sort of thing. But yeah, interestingly enough, you just need to take 4 tablets and that'll get rid of the chlamydia. I'm told.
Yeah. I mean, when I was looking for an image for this one for you, James, there was a tremendous picture of, I think it might have been this lady coming out of a doorway and this kind of very tall guy with black eyes.
That is for me, the scariest moment in any film. The most effective jump scare. There's a bit where like she's talking to her friend, and this like super tall.
See, everything's okay.
Pale guy, just his head comes under the door, and it's out of fucking nowhere as well. It's just terrifying. But there's a really great kind of imagery in this. There's a bit where she's like tied up to a chair, and it's basically this guy. It's how she catches the viruses. This guy sleeps with her to give her to her, then he roofies her and wakes her up and says, "Look, that's the monster. It's walking towards us. You can see it. I can see it. It's gonna follow you," and explains to her what's happening, and then she's not sure if it's actually happening, and then she starts seeing it other places. But like, there's just amazing, sequences where the two people are walking and you see something in the distance, and is that it? That could be it. I don't know. That kind of Where's Wally-ness I think this has as well. It's very Carpenter-esque, but it's unbelievable. Can't recommend it enough.
Sounds good. Sounds another good one to add to my list. Okay, guys. So my last pick, I don't think Ephraim's gonna like, but this is a one called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Has anybody seen this one?
I think I turned it off because I was so scared.
Yeah. So this is so the lead actress in it is the person that plays Debs.
Dexter.
Yeah.
Dexter. Yeah.
And the thing for me is I quite like this kind of film when I know they're based in some way on real life. So this is a movie version basically of a lady's life, a lady called Anneliese Michel, who was a German lady who died in 1976. And it's a retelling of her tale, which was basically that this lady had schizophrenia, she had delusions, spasms, epilepsy, I think, at one point, and she started to refuse all medical treatment. And she had an aversion to churches. So because she had an aversion to churches, their family petitioned the church to come and see her, and they decided that she was possessed by some kind of spirit. I think at the end, they described her having 6 different spirits, one of which was Nero, and the other one apparently was Hitler at one point.
Damn.
The church performed 67 exorcisms on her. So this is real life. This isn't the movie. The movie's based on this. But she had 67 exorcisms. She got to the point where she wouldn't drink water, so she only drank her own urine. She was eating bugs and things like that. And in the end, she died of malnutrition. It was horrendous. So she died of malnutrition. And the story of the film is documenting that, but documenting the court case that happened after this. So basically, obviously, because she died of malnutrition and neglect, they took the family and also the church to court. Now, the church argued that they'd done everything they possibly could because it was a real possession. It was a real, demonic possession. The court argued, no, this was a mentally unwell young lady who has basically had a year's worth of abuse and has died because of that abuse. It's got some real, in terms of the movie, it's got some real jump scares in it because it tells the story as if it might have been real. So you do see some of the horror elements of it and the possession elements. The thing for me that really freaked us out most with this was after I'd watched the film the first time, I went and Googled the true story, and it's all over YouTube. The images, first of all, are horrific of this poor young lady. But then when you listen to the tapes of the exorcisms and are actually speaking in voices,
I'm home alone tonight.
So they've tried to. So honestly, listen to the tapes. The tapes are horrific.
No way.
And they've tried
No
to
way.
excuse it by saying this was the first discovery of superior vocal cords. So the only way the courts could account for these voices she was making was to say that you've got additional vocal cords or something that in some cultures you can access, and that should learn and taught herself how to do that. It's horrific, absolutely horrific. And there's the two sides to it. There's the two sides of, is possession real, which is scary enough, but then there's the other side. Oh, this is a young girl who was mentally ill and basically was starved to death, you know. So yeah, it's a horrible story by all stretches. So have any of you actually watched it? I know, Ben, you said you didn't.
Like, I've seen bits, but yeah, the subject matter makes me really uncomfortable, and I think I've watched a documentary around the real story, and you know, that's the real horror right there. For me, and I think that's the thing that makes me uncomfortable about The Exorcist is, you know, that's based on similar stuff, and yeah, just that idea of just someone sort of obviously having their own version of reality and how kind of horrific that can be, and if not treated well and stuff like that. Like, yeah, the religion thing just kind of and I guess it comes down to not understanding as well that way of thinking, and so yeah, just scary shit, man. I can't deal with that. Like, just give me a fantasy slasher, you know, the zombie dudes in a mask. Like, I'd much rather that. All this stuff makes me very uneasy.
And the interesting thing about this, the tragic thing about this is, at the end of the court case, the judge ruled that it was homicide by negligence, but the family and the vicar and the religious people involved all got sentences of what do you call it, time served. So they were all effectively, you know, terrible stuff. Efren, I know this kind of movie doesn't sit well with you. Not a one I would recommend you watch, mate.
No, these types of movies they just bother me down to the core, you know, of my body, and just the thought of exorcisms, from the very first Exorcist to movies like this. I've seen The Exorcist, and that's the only Exorcist movie I've ever seen. I just don't.
But I think for you, Efren, as a religious man, you know, we've spoke openly about where the difference, where we all sort of sit in terms of religion and stuff. But I think for you as a religious man, you know, these films are shining a light on the worst of religion rather than, you know, the kind of positive elements that religion brings. So it's you know,
I think it's pretty amazing. So many people believe in the devil, evil entities, and not, you know, and a lot less people, to me at least, they don't believe in Jesus and Christ. How can that be real? But people believe in the devil.
Yeah.
You know, but we can go down that rabbit hole, but I will never watch this movie. You have to tell me it was going to be on YouTube. Now I'm interested to see these YouTube clips, though, you know, about they show her, you know, the voices and everything like that, you know, but gosh, you know.
Terrifying stuff.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of movie that disturbs me more than a slasher kind of movie.
Yeah,
these are the ones that make us kind of uncomfortable.
Okay, superhero movies, would you rather watch, or horror movies? I'd rather watch a superhero movie anytime.
That's tough.
It depends what mood I'm in. Like, I mean, you know, no, but it's funny. It's like, it's superheroes, like horror. That you know, they're so different, but at the same time, for me, sometimes they're so similar. Like the slashers will always have your hero, and you know, the boogeyman is often the villain, and you know, like and it's very kind of camp and over the top, which quite often comic books are and stuff. That's why I love wrestling as well, because wrestling's the same. Wrestling's just superheroes with, you know, a bit of fighting in between. So, but yeah, I'm not in the mood for horror right now because Peter's freaked me out with that Emily Rose story thing.
What about you, James? Horror or superheroes?
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because they are, like, I would say, like, I you know, collect more superhero stuff and all that, but I would say they're about on par for me. I definitely spend more time watching and thinking about superhero stuff than horror stuff, so probably we'll go superheroes. But then also there's superhero horror movies. Yeah, Blade.
But horror's on the fringe, isn't it? Like I think horror's still very much a niche in terms of fans and audience and stuff like that.
I think, you know, it's kind of what you said, Ben. I could watch a superhero movie anytime and just switch my brain off and just get into it. I've got to be in the mood for a good horror or a good scare.
I think that's fair.
You know what I mean? I've got to really want it.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that kind of brings me to the end of our. What are you laughing at now?
It's the way you said, "I'm gonna really want it." What is that, Peter? That's freaked me out. What's that from? That's terrifying.
That's from your bedroom.
Look behind you.
To be fair, when I had that abscess last year, I don't think it was far off.
Yeah, guys. So we've spent a lot of time talking about our favourites. We've covered a lot, and I hope people that are watching it have enjoyed it. Please do put in the comments what your top 5 favourite horrors or scary stories are. And please do think about what Ben said. If this is the kind of content you like on one of our channels, any of you can do it. Please do let us know, because I think there's a lot of legs here. I think we've all really enjoyed talking about this stuff. So thank you very much. If I can just mention, if you're watching these videos in order, we do have a Halloween hangout on the 31st of October at 9 o'clock, where we're going to be talking, again, all things horror, but with a bit of a focus on the supernatural and real life horror. So we're going to be having a good chat and relaxed discussion at that.
In costume.
In costume, yeah. Okie dokie, guys. So this has been really interesting. I think this has been one of my favourite top. How can we call it top 5? I mean, Christ, how many have we done? Is it 30 odd? Must be 30 odd.
Oh, it's all 3 of you
15
have done top
each.
10s.
Yeah.
And then James has had an extra, 5. So.
Wow.
Bloody hell. Well, chaps, can I just thank you very much for taking part? I know it's been a bit of time out of your busy days, but it's been really worthwhile. So thank you very much for that. And we'll see you next time, and we'll have to decide what we're going to do for next top 5. So catch us later, everybody. Bye.